Of conflicting reports that are out right now about what went down with Osama Bin Laden. We know he's dead. Praise be to Allah. But there are also some new facts that are coming out from a senior U.S. official today. There is a video of the raid, but it's not going to be released. There is a video of the burial at sea, but they haven't really decided on that one yet, I don't think. The body of Bin Laden was taken to a hangar in Afghanistan before taken to the USS Carl Vinson. They recovered computer information that was called a treasure trove and a mother lode, according to officials in the DOD, more than you would expect from somebody worried about their security. And there were no guards at the compound. And Bin Laden was unarmed. Okay. Now, we also learned today the SEALs encountered gunfire when they entered the second home where Bin Laden was. Bin Laden was up on the third floor. Non-adult children were in the room with him. His wife and those children are in Pakistani custody today. We know that the firefight lasted 20 minutes, but he was unarmed. Pakistani papers now are suggesting that Bin Laden was shot by his own guards, not by U.S. Special Forces. Meanwhile, the Chinese news agencies are reporting that according to Pakistani officials, the world's most wanted terrorist, Osama Bin Laden, was killed in a search operation launched by the Pakistani forces. Well, I haven't heard yet if the Cub Scouts were involved. There will always be confusion. There will always be doubt. There will always be conflicting stories. But tonight, I want to take you probably out of your comfort zone. I mean, it is 5 o'clock on the Glenn Beck program, and I want you to use some critical thinking here, not as a viewer, but as the President of the United States, because I think we're starting to miss an important question. Each step we take from here on out, each step that we take, are we making the world more safe or less safe? Come on. Hello, America. We are now one day removed from learning the emotional and pretty happy news that Osama Bin Laden finally had an up-close and personal meeting with the United States Special Forces. And after their brief encounter, our guys quickly arranged for Bin Laden to attend another meeting with a higher or much, much lower power, whichever way you see it. And I'm happy to say the Special Forces were even kind enough to provide the transportation, just a couple of double taps, and he was on his merry way. And no one is happier than yours truly. But I want to again take you out of your comfort zone. We have to think like the President of the United States and answer some questions here. Bin Laden was one of the worst mass murderers to live, and he inspired countless acts of evil, and they will go on, I believe, for generations. I told you yesterday that me personally, this is why I'm at 5 o'clock and I'm not the President of the United States, I would have said to the guys, you know what, can we wrap them up in some bacon, stuff them in a football, and bury them under the 50-yard line at the Meadowlands? I'd even settle for putting him in, you remember Han Solo when he was put in the carbon freeze? Put him in that, and then make him part of the foundation of the basement of the Freedom Tower. Whatever, I'm cool. But everyone was celebrating in the streets, and I understand it. I do understand it. Many were excited about Bin Laden's death, which is probably the wrong emotion, but I don't think that's what it was. There were sincere people out there. And I think that what happened when people were not doing this is more reflective, but the people that were celebrating, I think it's probably because we haven't had anything good to feel about America in quite some time. We keep being told that we're bad and we're evil and we're worthless and everything else. And Daddy keeps telling us that. I don't mean Daddy, I mean like, you know, our country's father now, Barack Obama. We won this one, and I think that's what people felt. Doesn't feel like we've been winning anything for a while. But be careful, because we just won one game in a championship series. And most people will fail to even recognize that there is even a series that we could lose. Tonight, I, again, want you to think like the President of the United States and not like a regular citizen or a TV viewer. But you are the person. Remember when Hillary Clinton said, and who's going to answer the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning? Hello? Who's it going to be? The phone call comes in at 3 o'clock in the morning. And this is the conversation. Now, I've split this up. Here's special ops. These are the people that, are going to say, hey, we just found Bin Laden. Then there's me and you. What we would say. And then what the president should say. Now, remember, this phone call didn't happen last week. This phone call didn't happen at 3 o'clock in the morning. But let's say it did. Probably went a little something like this. And remember, does this make us less safe or more safe? Phone call, 3 o'clock in the morning. You answer it. You're the president. Special Ops says, we have found Bin Laden. Me and you say, did you kill him? The president should say, where is he? Answer, Pakistan. Me and you? Okay, whatever. Kill him and call me back. I'm sleeping. The president says, do the Pakistanis know? Critical question. Notice, we're all focused on kill him. The president of the United States, he should be better than that even at 3 o'clock in the morning. Where is he? Pakistan. Do the Pakistanis know? We don't know. We say, whatever, kill him. The president says, can you catch or kill him? Answer, yes. You and I say, catch him? What? President says, can you do it without A, getting everybody killed, killing innocents, and making sure that there's no video or photos of dead children anywhere? Why? Why would the President of the United States say that? He doesn't want anybody of our troops killed. Certainly no innocents. And he doesn't want any video or photos because he knows a photo is worth 1,000 words. Now, according to the White House, there are discussions about releasing the photos of Osama Bin Laden, dead. And they're saying it is awful, gruesome, saying that his brain is exposed and everything else. A picture is worth 1,000 words. They're now saying this is going to be one of the most widely viewed photos ever, if not the most viewed photo in history. Now think of all of the historic photos that you have seen. There's the photo that you'll never get out of your mind of the World Trade Center, or the moon landing. Think of all of the photos of JFK. Or how about the photos of Iwo Jima? That's saying something. Think of all the photos that have been burned in your mind and what they say to you. This is going to be the most viewed photo of all time. Well, what will this photo say? The idea behind releasing the photo is to put to rest the deather conspiracy. Yes, we have truthers, and then we have birthers, and now we have deathers. That's perfect. All conspiracy theorists. And they want to release these photos before the conspiracies pick up any steam. You got to be kidding me, right? You could produce the body. They still think we have aliens in Roswell. I mean, you cannot satisfy people. Doesn't matter what you do. You think some nut job's going to believe a picture put out by the Pentagon? No. Video? No. ABC News is reporting that the White House is also considering releasing the video of the body going into the sea. Oh, okay, so we take the video of a body wrapped in white cloth going overboard. Oh, that's going to convince them. Right. Donald Trump, you want to weigh in on this one? I mean, we had the birth certificate. Do we need a long-form death certificate too? You want to help me out on this one? Barack Obama, of all people, knows that a picture and a video is not going to help in that regard. The man should, as he was giving the order to kill Osama Bin Laden, that next night, he was making fun of Donald Trump from stage, talking about conspiracy theories. He's coming off the birth certificate nonsense. And so he knows this. And yet, he's still debating with people about releasing photos. But we know that a good president would say, you're not going to kill any innocents, and there are not going to be any videos or photos, right? So it doesn't make sense. Now, all of this debate supposedly is happening behind closed doors, and whether or not to release these images. This is odd to me, because you and I learned about Bin Laden on Sunday night. The president has known this is coming since February, specifically, and since August, generally. They've bragged about all the meetings that they've had. Now, are we really supposed to believe that the president didn't ask these questions? Can you capture or kill him? Yes. Can you do it without getting killed? Pretty sure. Without killing innocents? Pretty sure. And can you make sure that there's no video? Well, they'd say, well, wait a minute, Mr. President, we should have some film, we should have some photos, because nobody's going to believe him. How are we going to convince people? Yes, okay, yeah, all right, we're going to take a picture of the body. Why are we debating this now? They didn't debate this before? And again, the question is, releasing of the photo. Does this action make the United States of America more or less safe? And the question about Pakistan. That's my number 2 question. Where is he? Pakistan. Do the Pakistanis know? Well, now Pakistan is involved. I mean, let's look at the map of where they found Bin Laden, shall we? They found Bin Laden here in the compound. This is 1,000 yards away from Bin Laden's house. That's it. Bin Laden's house is surrounded by 18-foot walls and barbed wire. It's not exactly subtle. The town is filled with retired generals. Pakistan's not really looking good in this scenario. Now, if you knew since August, did you not have that debate inside the administration behind closed doors and think through what is going to happen with Pakistan if we go in and take out Bin Laden? What to say to them? What to say to our own people? What to say to the whole world? The administration is trying to make us believe that they didn't have those conversations, because now the administration, some are now criticizing Pakistan, demanding that we reconsider the $3 billion in aid that we give to them. Now think of that. $3 billion in aid. What do? We give them that aid because if they don't, the moderates will collapse. It would cripple them if we cut that off. Others in the administration, however, are saying Pakistan was helpful on this. Well, which is it? You can't even get the administration, who hasn't been noodling this since Sunday night like you and me. They have been doing this since August. And they have people that all they're paid to do is think of these things. And they can't get that one answer right. They weren't prepared for this, and they weren't prepared for the pictures. But they were prepared to have a Muslim cleric all ready to go on it. It's not like they were like, oh crap, we were going to dump his body off. Does anybody have a Muslim cleric handy? They had that all ready to go. But not the answer for the photos or Pakistan. That doesn't work. That doesn't make sense. Now, Barack Obama's poll numbers have jumped 9 percentage points overnight, so he's doing great. If this was happening with George W. Bush, the same thing would happen. If we had a shoe give the order to kill Bin Laden, the shoe would have gone up 9 points. That's not a surprise. Everybody's happy that Bin Laden is sleeping with the fishes. But the question is the world more or less stable? Let's look at some of the other facts that the president knew, because this whole operation is kind of strange. WikiLeaks. Pretty accurate, right? WikiLeaks, the release of information from WikiLeaks has been accurate, and it has set the Middle East on fire. Well, now there are the leaked documents that we know out of Guantanamo that say Al-Qaeda has a rogue nuke set to detonate if Bin Laden is captured or killed. Do we know that that's true or not? We don't. The documents cite Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, a prisoner at the facility, who said a nuclear hellstorm would break out if we killed Osama bin Laden. Bin Laden said also that they had one. So, what do we have? WikiLeaks says, and this is from the Harry Beck guy, nukes. The U.S. government has said they got nukes. Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden have said they've got nukes. I kind of want to make sure that we are clear on that one. But we just shoot him dead? Do they have nukes? I mean, did they at least break out the nipple clamps at all, Jack Bauer style, and just, hey, the nukes, you have them. Can we get a little information? Things are a little off here. And it brings us to the options. Poll numbers. It's a possibility, would be a possibility with every president, especially a president like Bush or Obama. Your poll numbers are down. You have the chance, do it. Option number 2, something went wrong, or we just have missing information. This one's plausible. I don't think probable. Third graders are in the White House. We know what they're doing. There's not wild incompetence in the White House. And then destabilize the world and the Middle East. Wait a minute. Can we go back over here? I'm sorry. Yeah, Harry, can we move here? Pick up 6. Look at this. What do we put? Relax, Harry. It's 5 o'clock. It's not like a prime time. It's not like Bill O'Reilly. Everybody's rushing out of the way. Radicals, Islamists, communists, and socialists will work together against Israel, work against capitalism, work together to overturn stability. Overturn stability. Well, if you're one of those guys, then doing these things would actually destabilize, and that would be a good thing. Again, I'm not questioning the joy that we feel killing Osama bin Laden. I just don't believe that they didn't answer these questions in advance. Now, this is Obama and his national security team in the Situation Room getting briefed on the mission to take down Osama bin Laden. Are you telling me that there was no one in this room that said, wait, Mr. President? First of all, do we know for sure that they do or do not have nukes? Second of all, what's going to happen with Pakistan? If Pakistan falls apart, the whole thing cascades. The Middle Eastern country also with a nuke. Did anyone speak up? Maybe they did. Maybe the president said, I don't care, kill him, no matter what. I don't think so. It doesn't make sense. In today's world, with how on fire it is, I think that going in without any thought to Pakistan's reaction would be irresponsible and very hard to believe. The press should be asking this. Americans should be asking questions. Again, clear. Glad Osama bin Laden is gone. I had a marching band here yesterday. Still happy about it. But this is game 7. We just played game 1. I don't know if it's utter incompetence or what, but they had months to prepare for the scenario. The military pulled it off. They prepared. They did it. But the administration doesn't know what to do with the photos or Pakistan. You have to think of the long-term ramifications if you're president. Is the world becoming more or less safe? Does this action make us more or less safe? Temporarily, it makes us less safe. But if it was only about killing OBL, then you're okay. Terrorists are going to retaliate. But should that play a role in whether we kill them or not? No. Justice needs to be served, and it was. But did anybody think this through? They keep saying they did. I believe they did. We fly through Pakistan. We put an ally in turmoil. There's accusations in America that say they are not a friend of ours. Does that make us more safe or less safe? Nukes, nukes, nukes. We don't know. Pakistan, in trouble now. More safe or less safe. We kill him. We don't capture him. I think that was the right move. More safe or less safe. And the photos. More safe or less safe. What would have happened if we would have released the JFK death photos a week after JFK's death? We waited, what, 25, 30 years? By releasing this photo, does it make us less safe or more safe? Don't answer as a citizen. Answer as a president. And if he answers too many times the wrong way, you have to ask yourself why. What are the options? What is it there? What's really happening? More in a second. I want to share with you some growing thoughts here, and today is kind of a more think out loud kind of program. These are the kind that always get me in trouble, but why is killing Osama Bin Laden? It's important because justice needed to be served. But why doesn't it change anything really in the end? Because unlike the guy who was Hitler, you kill Osama Bin Laden and it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change because Osama Bin Laden is not a person. It's like the Muslim Brotherhood. The Muslim Brotherhood, they are not really people. But this is the way we look at them. We look at them as people or groups. And we look at America as an idea, freedom. And so when they start to come after and attack us, what do? We immediately put up fences around the idea. And we put them around as much as we can to lock up this idea and protect it. And when they continue to come, another one, we put up more fences. And we make it so they can't come through. But we have others. We have Marxism. We have globalists. We have statists coming after us as well. So we have all of these. But see, just like statists, globalists, Marxists, they're not people, they're ideas. Just like these guys are not people, they're ideas. And it's this one idea, Sharia law. You can kill all of the Muslim Brotherhood. You can kill Osama bin Laden. But Sharia law and the idea of Sharia law lasts. Here's where we're in trouble. We're not really protecting an idea anymore. We're protecting stuff. Stuff loses to ideas. Every time. We have to stop protecting our stuff and start looking for the idea. Our stuff decays over time, and our idea, the American idea, is so decayed it doesn't even matter anymore. It's not even really discussed. Where is the competing idea? Sharia wants total control for Allah, total control for the collective, total control for the business, really, for the United Nations, for the corrupt, and for the corrupt businesses of the world. Where's the competing idea? They all want to control. We must replace our stuff with an idea. This is why we talked about E4. Enlightenment, education, empowerment, and entrepreneurship. Enlightenment. Find your place with God. Find your place. Who is He? Does He even exist? Do I have a place? Are we all just here? Are we just all blobs that just happen to pop up? Can we all be herded collectively? Or does God look at us and judge us as individuals? If He does, you better educate yourself. And then empower yourself. And find that creative idea. You notice all of this is about destruction and then control. That's not what He's about. He's about creation. America, if we're going to win, we need the competing idea. And it ain't about stuff. Back in a second. All right. Bin Laden is no longer a threat. And we've been talking about whether the world is more safe or less safe. In a time of crisis, you have to be very careful with every move. Clearly, the world is better off without UBL. It's great. But now, each step that we take, we have to be very careful. Releasing pictures, is that going to be helpful? Is that going to stop anybody from believing that it was all hoax? There are people, 14%, is it 14 or 8% of the population believe we never went to the moon, the U.S. population. So, hello, pictures don't help. But we have to see what we've done in the last couple of years. Who are our friends anymore, honestly? I asked my radio audience today, what do we even stand for? Who are we? What do we believe in as a country? Who are our friends? I don't know. Who are the allies? And what's going on? I want to show you a video here from a journalist and a Middle East expert. This is what he had to say on Iran's government press TV. Watch.
America, Britain, France, yes, real economic difficulties. But strangely, the economic difficulties means the Americans in particular, and the British and French to a lesser extent, are prepared to use their military power to offset their economic decline.
The military power? I want you to know who this guy is. First of all, this is the guy who last month resigned from the British Socialist Workers' Party after 32 years of membership. I guess being the editor of Socialist Worker paper qualifies him as a journalist and an expert on the Middle East. So here's a socialist, communist, Marxist revolutionary talking about the government as a socialist, communist, Marxist revolutionary and saying, you know what, they're going to go to war. Is this what our country is being set up for? I don't think so. But the Iranians believe that. And it is the way that when people hyperinflate, that's the way they usually get out of it. But I want to show you what's happening to our country. Our country is transforming everything. All of our ties are changing. This is who our traditional allies have been. And these are our traditional foes. But let's go through them one by one, shall we? France. Here's the latest on France. President Obama called them a strong friend and an ally, but the honeymoon is over. They now have to take the lead in Libya. Right. And if the election were held today, Sarkozy would lose to Le Pen, who said she will break the alliance with NATO and realign with Russia. So with friends like France, I mean, who needs Russia? They're kind of in the question mark category now. Germany congratulated us on UBL. But they're also looking for new friends. Russia. Construction on an underwater oil pipeline between Russia and Germany underway. England, things have been a little strained, since we sent the bust of Winston Churchill back and gave the Queen an iPod of his best speeches. But they're basically toast. They're still our ally, but, anybody who watched the royal wedding of, Kate and Leopold, they were walking down, and somebody on TV said, that could be the next king. And I thought, yes, if there is another king. Canada. You probably missed this piece of news, but this is good. Stephen Harper and his Conservatives won yesterday. I may just knock back some maple leaf syrup and, break out into "Oh, Canada," because they're our strongest ally. Please, let us across the border, please. How frightening is this, that this is the ally that is, no offense, Canada, but, you've never been really known for your fighting prowess. But you're the strongest one of the group now. Pakistan. Well, I think they're over here. They could fall. at any time. Friend or foe? Which are they? Were they harboring UBL or not? His death could throw the country into a tailspin, and let's not forget that the Mumbai incident, the killers were from Pakistan. So now we're spreading from Iran through Afghanistan into Pakistan into India. Oh, it's good. Wait a minute. Who was it on this show that said, "Who's me?" From India all the way to Spain. Egypt, since Mubarak stepped down, anti-American sentiment has been growing. We're not real popular over there. The Muslim Brotherhood, all for Sharia law, poised to take control. Go to glennbeck.com to see the latest approval ratings for the Muslim Brotherhood, and ours. By the way, they came out today and defended resistance against U.S. presence in Iraq and Afghanistan as legitimate. But our president loves it. Foe. Israel is repeatedly criticized by this White House. We are at a relationship that we haven't had in 35 years. Saudi Arabia, if you've been following it all, why do you think they're not pumping more oil? They're really, really angry. They don't like the example that we're setting in Libya by killing leaders. That's falling apart. I'll put them over here. China is reducing their debts, our debts. They're not holding our debts anymore. It's also on an economy. Their economy is on a track now to overtake ours by 2016. Saudi Arabia has been courting China for their own little special deal. They're trying to have a little energy alliance since they're disappointed with us. Japan, there's nothing left of Japan. Between the earthquake, the tsunami, and the 400-plus aftershocks, Japan is crippled and on the DL. Now, wow. What happens? Remember during the time of hope and change, the idea was the president to repair our international relations. I mean, unless he meant relations in a biblical sense, I mean, we're not really repairing anything. We still get along with these guys. Kind of. I think these guys still like us. Oh, and these guys like us. Well, Brazil, really, not so much. I mean, yes and no. There's nothing like a former Marxist guerrilla that went to prison for trying to overthrow their president, their government, who's president now of Brazil. I don't look at Brazil really like we're friends or allies. I think Brazil kind of looks at us like clients. We're kind of Elliot Spitzer to Brazil. As long as the check clears, they're in. Remember, our friends. Now, let me ask you this. Our enemies. Are they getting stronger or weaker? Is Iran stronger or weaker? Is Russia stronger or weaker? Cuba stronger or weaker? North Korea stronger or weaker? Here's the point. UBL and Al-Qaeda were the old idea to scare people into Sharia law. Terrorize them. Kill them. The new paradigm is the Muslim Brotherhood. Organize. Legislate. Stand up for democracy. Get Sharia law in place. You can do it. It's a lot easier to community organize than to convince people to blow themselves up. Community organizing is the most powerful weapon on the planet today. You can kill UBL. But as I just told you, the idea lives on. There is a competing idea. It's globalism, statism, Marxism, Sharia. And it seems as though we are being separated and cut apart from anyone who once believed in that idea. Because nobody wants to stand with a bunch of people that are only about stuff. That's where we begin tomorrow, the competing idea. Back in a minute. Bin Laden's death raises a lot of questions. Are we more safe or less safe now? My guess is that we are less safe temporarily, but if we do the right things, more safe. Michael Scheuer is the former head of the CIA's Bin Laden unit, also the author of Osama Bin Laden. Let me just explain something about Michael before I bring him on. I've known Michael. Michael, how long have we known each other? Maybe
5, 6 years.
5, 6 years, yeah. And Michael and I disagree on some things here and there, but he is, you'll notice that I have very few guests on this show, and that's, pardon my language, just because most people speak bull crap, and they don't tell you what they really think. He does. Agree or disagree. If you're in a firefight, you want somebody to tell you the truth. So here we are in a firefight, Michael. First of all, you watched the show or saw a few minutes of it here as you were waiting. How much is bull crap here? Am I on the right track, or am I going in the wrong direction?
Well, I think certainly we underestimate, Glenn, the dismay with the United States around the world, especially in the Muslim world. We heard the president on Sunday repeat again and again, as did President Bush, as did President Clinton, that we're not at war with Islam. Well, that's fine, but increasing numbers of Muslims across the Islamic world are at war with us and with our allies.
Okay.
And it's a very broad war, and one that we're going to have to fight for a very long time.
It doesn't seem to me, though, that, I mean, you know and I know, Michael, we can't fight this war for a very long time. How much is this war costing us? And look at our debt. What is happening to us is exactly what Osama Bin Laden said he would do to us. I believe back in 1999, he said he would do to us what he did to the former Soviet Union, which is basically bleed us to death. And that's the road that we're headed down. If we don't have a competing idea, one that unites the world, because that's what he is. He had an idea that is uniting the Middle East, and now the Muslim Brotherhood have a similar one, and it's Sharia law. Correct or wrong?
Well, there's certainly a similarity between Osama bin Laden and the Muslim Brotherhood, and it is Islamic government, Glenn. That's exactly right. The Brotherhood is much more sophisticated in organization, in fact has a political organization of its own, but its goal in many ways is much more imperialistic, much more global than Osama bin Laden's. Bin Laden was a defensive jihadist, if you will, wanting to reclaim some territory that was lost by Islam. But if you read the Brotherhood's material rather than what they tell CNN, the Brotherhood is very much an imperialist organization like the Saudis, who want to install an Islamic government in every country of the world, which would mean conversion for
death.
Jews or Christians,
Right.
or it would mean death,
Okay.
or it would mean a special tax.
Hold on just a second. Back in a minute. Michael Scheuer, he is the former head of the CIA's Bin Laden unit. And Michael, I wanted to ask you two questions. We only have 90 seconds, so the first one is yes or no. Shouldn't this debate about the photos of whether we should release the death photos of Osama bin Laden have been done long ago, before the trip was even made?
Yeah, I think this is a botched thing, Glenn.
Okay.
They should have decided before they went how they were going to identify the body to the American people.
Okay, so the second thing is the destabilization of Pakistan, intentional or unintentional. What does this mean to the war on terror, if you will?
Well, certainly we're tearing Pakistan apart by what we have asked it to do and what it has done. But perhaps the most dangerous thing was the State Department's insistence that Mrs. Bhutto go back and democracy be restored. At least Musharraf was helping us. Since that election, the president of Pakistan is one of the most corrupt people on earth, and the country as a whole is really falling apart. It seems to me, at least, that our best bet is if the military at some point in the near future takes over.
Wow. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. We'll be back in just a second. We can take these stupid security fences down and start pushing back and make the Marxists and those who want Sharia law and the global.
Well, perhaps nobody but the United States has suffered as greatly at the hands of al-Qaeda